Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today is day number 90 in our 100 Days of EDH, and it being April Fool's Day, I figured I'd do something a little off the beaten path, kind of doing these set reviews. So let's go back to August of 1998 and talk about Unglued. Unglued it's kind of weird. It was the first time we'd ever seen silver border cards and a joke set, if you will. There was 83 silver border cards, 5 black border cards, and then a bunch of tokens. So let's get in it. Now the cheese stands alone. The reason now there was, like I said, there was 94 total cards in this set, and there's not a lot here that I chose to talk about because let's face it, they're all banned. But a lot of house rules allow you to play them. The cheese stands alone is very unique because this is a card that actually ended up making it into black border. Shoot, a smart guy would have done his research, and it's an enchantment for exactly this 6 mana. If you control no other cards in play besides this card, you win the game. And it doesn't take too long to figure out. You slap an O-ring, and then what is that? Obliteration, annihilation. It's one of those. Yeah, pretty neat. I like how the unsets are the kind of the testing grounds because we'll see a lot of things in here that eventually ended up making it into black border magic. Of course, we got the Knight of the Hokey Pokey. I used to be a real bad Hokey Pokey addict, but I was able to turn myself around. Look at Me, I'm the DCI is the only card of its kind. This card was designed by Mark Rosewater, was developed by Mark Rosewater. The art was done by Mark Rosewater, and the flavor text was done by Mark Rosewater. That's the only time in history it's ever happened. I believe Randy Buehler actually put the text on the card, though, if I'm not mistaken. But, yeah, this is kind of one of those things that we all do. I mean, well, I would ban this card, or I would, yeah. It's kind of funny. And I love the blindfold and throwing the darts. That's amazing. Censorship. What I want to talk about censorship is this is actually a card art. We don't know what the card art looks like, obviously, but it was done. It was commissioned for an earlier card, I believe, from Exodus, and it was a little too risque at the time, so they actually kept the art and just redacted most of it here, and it kind of played into the theme. Chickens were a big tribe here. Yeah, and of course this was Chicken a la King. Hey, you're die rolling for your die rolling deck. If you can, tap a chicken, roll a die. Now, BFM was the first card that we ever saw that came in 2 pieces. Big furry monster. Now, if you look here left and right, and of course it makes this card when put together, there's 15 specific black mana, and the jewelry that the thing is wearing were the 2 previously largest creatures. That was a Leviathan and a Phyrexian Dreadnought. Dreadnoughts for jewelry. It was big. The biggest, baddest, nastiest, scariest creature you'll ever see. So it's kind of neat. This mechanic later on came into being with, what is that, meld? To make 2 cards making the big super card. So I'm telling you, having no rules in unset development and design is kind of where we need to be. Unstable helped us a bunch. I know it did. We're just waiting to see it. And there's been a few things so far. And we got handcuffs. Now, there was an art. Was this the art theme? I know Giant Fan was blowing Randy Gallegos' name off the card, but handcuffs here. There was a lot of physical challenges it introduced, and you keep both hands in contact with each other. If not, yeah. So this was kind of the first physical challenge card. Now, Infernal Spawn of Evil, I believe, if I can remember correctly, the joke here was this is just the crispiest art. I mean, there's snowflakes and trees, and it's a little fat little rat with a, you know, and it's 7/7 flying first strike. Gave us the first actual psychographic card, Timmy the Power Gamer. Yeah, that's a pretty good ability there, and this is a legendary creature. So if you know we if your house rules allow for silver border, then you know this might make a decent general. Blacker Lotus. This was back when Wizards used to farm out their I forget what you call it, the surveys and stuff that you do online, their feedback, and they could not understand why people didn't like the Blacker Lotus or the Chaos Confetti, and they said we don't understand why people don't like it. They have nothing in common. Well, as it turns out, people don't like tearing up their cards. Bronze Calendar. The joke here is that in early Magic, the communication between the art department and the artist were not the best. And sometimes the artist would misunderstood what they were being asked to paint. And while this doesn't, I mean, yeah, the speaking in a different voice is whatever, but every page holds a month, every date a numeral, and you look at the art and you're like, what? Well, the reason why is it was a play off of that miscommunication. Um, think of Bronze Colander. That's what Melissa drew here, which I thought was just genius. Now, of course, we got paper, rock, scissors, and you know, it's kind of the trifecta. One beats the other, but not the other, and that's fine. But look at the art here. Obviously, this is a tiger made of paper, walking on rocks, and the rock lobster. It's a bunch of metal, and of course, the scissors lizard over a bunch of shredded paper. Nothing beats the lizard's sheer power. Now, these are the cards I wanted to talk about. Gatherer, where I got these images from, these are actually black bordered. I don't know why Gatherer put the silver border on them. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I guess because the rest of the set was silver bordered, but these 5 basic lands were black bordered, and they are, you know, totally legal because planes, you know. This was in a day and time before foils exist. There are no foil copies of these cards at all. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, these are absolutely outstanding. As far as I'm concerned, probably the best frame they've ever had on, you know, basic lands. Now, can you imagine these things? Look at that mountain. I mean, that makes me want to play red. And I'm an EDH player. Can you imagine these foiled? There is a huge missed opportunity here from Wizards on not making these some kind of promo, or hell, I mean, we've had 3 unsets now, and that's 5 basic lands per, and they were all gorgeous all 3 times. It doesn't matter. I would buy from the vault unlands. I mean, I would probably buy as many as I could. But anyway, or judge promos. Or, I mean, these are gorgeous cards, and they own these images, and I don't, I know, but nowadays I think they have more capability with frames than we know that they can do. And I'm pretty sure that they can bring this back. This was also the very first set to give us tokens. Now, tokens are silver bordered, not that it matters for a token because it's not in your deck. But they gave us a few tokens, you know, Pegasus, a goblin, and a squirrel. Squirrels were huge at the time. And that is what I have got for this Unglued. Now, there was, like I said, there was 90-something cards in there, 94. And I mean, the the running jokes were everywhere. I know chicken was the thing, and I was looking for an image for the set symbol here, and I come across this one, and it seemed kind of unclear and fuzzy, and I thought that's perfect, and that's exactly why I used this one. So, something a little different, but I guess we will see y'all tomorrow.